We are gearing up for the state's first nor'easter of the season. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is going to have what officials are doing to get ready for this winter storm.
Well, the federal government is now backing the deposits of 2 failed banks as a second one failed shortly after Silicon Valley Bank collapsed.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, begins with a Weather Watch alert.
Monday morning. Good morning to you. Thanks for being with us here at Fox 61 at 6 America Areas.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Good morning. Yeah, just when we thought we might escape a big storm, we have a ways to go. We're on the Weather Watch this morning. A nor'easter is set to hit the state, and it looks like we have a very widely varying amount of impacts depending on where you live.
Wide and varying, not really good words to use there. We're talking storm, right, Rachel?
We're talking about 0 inches of snow or a coating to about 16 inches of snow. And you're kind of like, really? Come on, meteorologist, get it together, right? But it really just depends on where you are across the state. So if you're along the Connecticut shoreline, that's where we're thinking the lowest snow totals will be, with the jackpot in northwestern Connecticut. So this nor'easter bringing everything. We're starting off with rain, and then we'll see this change over to snow with a prolonged period of snow in northwestern Connecticut, with much less snowfall totals towards the south and southeast. Outages from this snow and wind are possible. Minor coastal flooding is also on the table, and variable travel conditions tonight, tomorrow, and tomorrow evening too. Taking a look at the alerts that we have across the state, everyone except the shoreline is either under advisory, a watch, or a warning. The area shaded in pink, that is where we think the highest snowfall totals will end up being. So Tolland, Windham, and Litchfield County. 41 degrees in New Haven this morning. It's 35 in Waterbury, 33 degrees in Torrington. With that snow, that occasional snow showers are out there this morning, but for the most part, it's not a big deal. So towards this afternoon, we'll start to see that rain begin to move in. We'll pause it here towards the evening commute, where yes, we're just dealing with rain, but as we go through time, this will switch over. So heavy wet snow, especially in the Hilltown locations, and rain changing over to snow for inland locations in the capital city, where it's mostly just rain for southeastern and areas along the shoreline. We'll detail out where we go from here. We'll really walk you through the hour-by-hour forecast and show you that snowfall total map coming up in just a bit. It's 6:02. Let's get a check out on the roads. Lauren, good morning.
Good morning to you, Rach. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Hopefully you're having a great morning so far. Hopefully nothing has gone wrong at 6 a.m. Let's bring you out to the Hartford drive times right now. Things are actually looking really good. 91, 84, Route 2, all moving smoothly in and out of the capital city right now. We did have a little bit of a backup on the westbound side, but that has since cleared. Traffic is moving freely on I-84, as you can see. Some light to moderate volume out there heading into the Hartford Tunnel. Nothing to complain about this morning. 91 over to I-95 in the New Haven area, looking great this morning. Heading towards East Haven is looking good on 95. And then as we head down into Fairfield County, we're starting to see that heavier volume build in the Bridgeport to Fairfield area. As we take a live look out there, though, it really isn't that bad out on 95 or on 91 over in Long Wharf in New Haven. We'll check in again on the roads with any issues and any updates coming up in the next half hour.
Hey, Lauren, thank you. Now, both power and road crews across the state are preparing for this storm that's coming over the next 2 days. And I think that's maybe the 3 words they'd like to hear the least: long duration storm. Oof.
Yeah. We're checking in with Fox News' Brooke Griffin. She's live in Weathersfield with a breakdown of all the preparations. Brooke, what's going on?
Connecticut Department of Transportation and Eversource both say that they're gearing up to take an offensive approach when it comes to tackling the next 48 hours. They say they both have one goal in mind, and that is keeping everybody safe, whether that be in their homes or out on the roads. CTDOT says they're planning on bringing in that first round of crews this afternoon, saying they likely will not stop working or even go home for at least the next 48 hours. Once they're geared up and ready to go, CTDOT says they will hit the road ahead of the first rounds of rain and snow this evening, gradually breaking out the plows alongside the salt trucks that they'll have out earlier in the day. Eversource is also making preparations for the storm, saying heavy snow and wind are expected to bring down trees and power lines across the state. Eversource leaders telling us they have brought in hundreds of line and tree crews from as far as Missouri and Texas to ensure that they have enough people on standby.
So crews are going to be pre-positioned at our work centers around the state before the storm hits to make sure that we are ready to respond as quickly and as safely as possible to whatever the storm may bring.
And Eversource leaders say they want people to have those preparation kits ready to go. They say whether that be in your home or in your car or even both, they want you to have warm blankets, snacks, water, extra batteries, flashlights, anything you may need for a couple of hours without power, or if you get stranded out on the road. They say they want everybody to be able to be safe and make it home alive. Live in Wethersfield, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Brooke, thanks for the update. All right, to 6:05 now to Hartford, where 8 people are without a home after an overnight fire. This happening at an apartment complex on Farmington Avenue early Sunday morning. Firefighters say they arrived to the building and discovered the fire in a stairwell on the 2nd floor and 3rd floor of the building. The fire was put out pretty quickly, and there were no injuries, no injuries to residents or firefighters, but 2 apartments are now unlivable. The Red Cross is now helping out those who've been displaced.
Hartford police have not announced any suspects yet in a deadly shooting Sunday morning. They said somebody shot 52-year-old Uriah Alexander multiple times, and they found him around 3 a.m. near the intersection of Albany Avenue and Oakland Terrace. Police are also asking for the public's help as they try to find Alexander's killer.
It's a very active investigation. You see crime scene behind me. They're processing the scene. MCD's here. They've been doing canvases. They're looking for witnesses. We have a tip line if anybody saw or knows what happened.
Yeah, so maybe you can help. Call that tip line for the Hartford PD if you can help. In Hamden, police said they believe a man was shot to death during a family argument at a party. They said 39-year-old Anthony Pearson was found on Connolly Parkway around 11 o'clock last night, and he later died at a hospital. They said he was at a party at the Wilbercross Commons building when he was shot. No arrests have been made yet, but police said they're also not looking for a suspect since everybody involved stayed on the scene.
A skier with Connecticut ties is in the ICU this morning after getting into a bad crash at Copper Mountain in Colorado. Anna Berman is from Germany, but she goes to school at Sacred Heart University, where she plays field hockey. Last week, she went to Colorado with friends for a spring break ski trip at Copper Mountain. Her friends say Anna hit a tree and had to be flown to the hospital for emergency spine surgery. Her friends told us that most of her body is now paralyzed. It's hard to see her in this condition.
It's been difficult, just considering how capable she was of doing everything else on her own. She's a very independent person, and she's a D1 athlete. So as soon as we kind of learned the severity of the situation with her spinal cord injury, we realized that it was going to cost a lot of money, especially because she's an international student.
Well, the friends set up a GoFundMe account to raise money for Anna's recovery. Her friends say they got a lot of support, but they are now having to battle misinformation on the internet that claims Anna died.
Why would somebody say something like that? Like, we're just trying to help somebody get through such a horrible injury that most people never even have to deal with or think about it. Anna is alive, and she's working through her recovery. We're extremely grateful, and her family's extremely grateful for all the support that we've received.
So far, more than $170,000 has been raised to go towards Anna's recovery.
Today, President Biden is set to announce a big military contract from Australia, one that should have a big impact on the economy here in Connecticut. European sources said Australia is going to commit to buying nuclear-powered attack submarines. As many as 5 of them are expected to be built at Electric Boat in Groton at a cost of $3 billion each. Now, Connecticut's U.S. representative for the eastern part of the state, that area there, Joe Courtney, said this purchase will bring a huge source of economic stability to the area.
This, again, means really decades of stability and further growth than what we've already seen, which is very significant.
The buy is part of Australia's growing concerns about China's influence in that part of the world. Courtney said the production of the subs could span the next 2 decades. Ahead of the expected contract, EB is hiring thousands to help with that big order. Well, this week, the owner and an employee of a construction company are due back in court after being accused of causing the death of a worker in a trench collapse last year. Dennis Botticello and his employee, Glenn Locke, are facing manslaughter charges in the death of Dennis Slater. Slater died at a construction site in Vernon back in July when the sides of a dirt trench collapsed on him at Laurel Woods Farms. Prosecutors said the walls weren't stabilized.